Oh, is it going? Oh, I finally got it. Oh, I'm so sorry. That was so loud. I finally got it perfect. Hi, guys. Welcome to my podcast. My name's Emma. I'm from a little town in Indiana, and I am so very excited to be here with you guys. You do not even understand how long it has taken me to set all of this up and to be excited about it, but I am so excited. Basically, what I want this little podcast to be is I'll give you a little bit of backstory. So my friend and I have talked so long about me starting a podcast. I said I've always loved it. I love the idea of it. I love to talk. I love to explore new topics, and I loved the idea of it. And I sat down with her one day and I kind of talked to her about it. And for Christmas, we did that little like 5 senses thing where it's like touch, taste, hear, whatever. And for here, she got me a little microphone. So this is me kind of just talking about stuff going on in my life. But basically, here's my podcast. I will basically have a name probably by the next like episode or by the time I end up uploading this, but I am so very excited to be with you today. I hope this podcast is just a comforting place. I am currently a senior in high school, so I feel like I want to be able to reach out to those that are kind of my age and understanding a lot of what they're going through. But yeah, I'm here, so let's get started. And today's main topic is going to be about college. So all of today and all of this Christmas break, which I'm sure a lot of us are on right now, there's actually Christmas while I'm filming this, is basically it's hard, and for me, my main goal this break was literally just to go through my closet, was to just get rid of clothes, get rid of everything that I wouldn't need for college, because I saw that as like a part of me that needed to happen, was to get rid of that little like almost like high school part of my life, and that was really important for me. So I actually went through all my clothes and stuff this morning. I got rid of like probably 3 or 4 bags. Like, it's crazy how much clothes I can own. And I sat down and I cried over this box of letters and cards and just little memories from my childhood that just make me want to sulk. And I feel like a lot of high schoolers that are going through this, because I'm currently a senior in high school, know this feeling, and it's so draining, and it's so just hard, because you know you want to move on to the next step, but the next step is scary, and you've been so comfortable in this step that you've had designed for you. But basically, I have struggled for literally the longest time adapting to the idea of college. If you would have asked me probably about 6 years ago, I would have told you that I wanted to go to a place in Ohio. Couldn't tell you where. I just love the idea of Ohio. For what reason, couldn't tell you. And I loved the idea of becoming a teacher. My mom was a teacher. My dad went to the same college as my mom, like things like that. Then if you would have asked me the next year, I would have said, okay, so I want to move to Ohio, so I want to be a teacher. Then the next year, I still want to move to Ohio to be a teacher. And then I got into my freshman year, and I loved the idea of journalism. I loved the idea of sports media management, getting out there, talking to people, exploring the world around me. I loved that. And then eventually, I had a couple tragic things happen in my life, which may be a different episode, but I lost a friend in death, and I think about that just ever since then persuaded me to go into something else. So actually in college, I plan on majoring in social work and majoring in political science, and understanding like how the government works, and to just be able to make my own impact on the world and advocacy for like children and families and fostering and adopting and just so many different things along the way. So these little things spark such a little flutter in my heart that I would always tell people, like, everybody wants to get on to me about this, but I've talked to my friend about it so much. Like, I don't know if anybody else has this, and please tell me if you have, but I think I see a little sparkle in people's eyes when they talk about something they love or their career, and I just have it for careers. Like, I could tell you when my mom was teaching that I never saw that sparkle in her eyes, but her new job, dude, I see that sparkle in her every day, and she cries about it, and she loves it. And my friend, she has the same thing, where she's fallen in love with it, she's grown to love it, and I just see that little sparkle in her eyes. And then I've just looked at people, and I don't see that sparkle, and I think about that so very much, because when you're going to pick a career, you should sparkle about it, girl. Like, you should love what you're going for. That is so important. And for me, that's how I feel about social work and political science. Basically, right now, if anybody knows living in like a tiny state or state with not many college options for social work, literally every place in the state, I swear, has a bachelor's in social work, but not a master's, and it stresses me out for some reason. But I am between 2 schools right now, and I just want to know if there's any other people out there that feel the same way about, oh my lord, about having to pick between 1 or 2 colleges and just knowing where your heart's at. And here's the thing. One of these colleges I have had in my mind for like a year or two. I was like, this is where I'm going to go. It's got one of the best social work programs. And I'm not going to say which one it is because I don't want to hate on people, but I also am just going to go and say it because it's IU Indianapolis. It's basically like this little college that's in the city of Indianapolis. And I fell in love with it, the idea of it. Everybody's like, they have such a good social work program. It's a city. I've always wanted to live in the city. I was like, this would be so great. And then fell in love with another college, which, oh Lord, it was so good. I showed up. I got to meet one-on-one with a tour guide who was like in the same thing as me, like my same major and everything. She showed me every room, and then I got to sit down with a financial advisor and talk to them, and then I got to sit down and meet with a professor in social work, and that just like sparked such a big thing in my heart. And thinking about it now, go on college tours, like no one ever told me how crucial those things are. Like you need to know what the atmosphere is. So we went to the IU Indy as well, and I just did not like it. Like I felt like it was double the enrollment of the other school. There's so many people. I looked at the social work building. It wasn't pretty. At the school I went to before that to tour, the one I fell in love with, they had like rainbow walls and stuff in the social work building because it was also tied to their elementary ed building. And I loved that. I loved that feeling of feeling like you're home. Please, if you are a junior or anybody else in high school, literally go on college tours, because you may think you want to be somewhere and then you step foot on it and you're like, this is not where I need to be. And that's okay. No one's telling you where you need to go, hon. I have thought for the longest time in my life, I've had this guilt recently because I can't decide on a college. It is currently Christmas when I'm filming this, and when I tell you I have not decided on a college, I have not decided on a college, and I have 2 months or about a month to figure that out. I have struggled so much with the idea of deciding on a college because of family. Now, I don't know if anybody else is this way. I grew up with a lot of childhood trauma, a lot of things from my past, and struggles with my family. Like, I'm not very close to my brothers, things like that. And it's, for the longest time, I was like, I'm going to move to Pennsylvania. I'm going to move to New York. I'm going to move far away from here for college. Then college comes, and I sit down and look at the room that I have. The room I have now is boho. It's at my house, obviously. Boho. I've got a queen-size bed. I've made it my room. It's my safe space, and I love it. And I have my dogs here, and my mom here, and everybody I love. And for the first time in my life, I have feared losing that. You know, and I guess this goes out to the people that feel the same, where you're like, you feel like your entire life you've begged to get out of your little 4 walls of your town, and then it comes to that moment, and it's like the scariest feeling to step an hour and a half away. Like, and one of my colleges, the one I love the most, is 3 hours away, and that's just a big fight with me, is because I was sitting down the other day, too, opening gifts with a friend, and we were opening stuff, and I just kept saying, oh, when I get a dorm, this would go perfect, and I just caught myself saying that, and I was like, Emma, you've never wanted to dorm. Never have I ever wanted to dorm. I've hated the idea of it. I don't want to share my space with somebody else. I think I need my own safe space. I love my queen bed. I'm a 5'10" woman. I'm a tall girly, and when I tell you that a nice queen-size bed is literally my go-to, it is literally my go-to, without a doubt. And I struggle with the idea of moving on from that, you know. But then I get excited about, okay, well, my bestie, like, I would dorm with someone that's going to become my best friend. And I'm going to get to experience a waffle bar they have there. I'm going to get to experience everything. But then I think about how my family is 3 hours away. And that's hard. Like, I know so many people get so excited for college. Like, I'm excited for my career. I'm excited to start that part of my life. I've never been a big high school girl. I feel like your entire life is just measured up for you, your entire existence. Like, with elementary and middle school and high school, what classes you should really take. And then you get to college and everybody's like, hey, guess what? You get to decide now. You're on your own. You're in your own little realm. And that's so beautiful, girl. I'm proud of you. You've made it this far. And, like, I've had to tell myself, like, girl, I made it this far. I'm getting through high school. And I've done so much of it alone. And I think as people, we get into this, like, mindset that so many people carried us to where we are. Look at where your 2 feet are. Like, they got you to where you are. And everybody, I feel like people overlook that so much. And they're like, especially when you, like, people win, like, Oscars and stuff, you know, and they're like, oh, I'd like to thank my mom and everything. Damn, I'd like to thank myself. I'd like to thank myself for the countless nights I stayed up and doing schoolwork, and the countless nights I had to give up on friend time because I had to go out and do schoolwork. And if it's not even that, I'd like to thank myself for pushing myself to go out and be with friends and leave the homework behind, and for getting on a roll, like, doing all these things, because everybody wants to sit here and talk about when they go to college the things they're leaving behind, but I'm like, look at what I'm taking with me. I'm taking with me a foundation I've built for myself, and that is so beautiful, and I'm so proud of myself for that, because high school, it's not easy. It's not. And it gets harder when you have college classes and AP classes and these people beginning to rely on you, that your brain just wants to scream. And oh, that is so hard. Like being this young. I'm an adult next month. I'm 18 next month, and I think about that all the time. It's it's so hard to put yourself in that mindset that you're gonna be okay eventually. And college, dude, college is so scary. It's so scary. I hate the idea of sharing a room with people. It becomes such a thing. And maybe I'll end up there and I'll love it. I literally could love it. I never know. I'll never know. But I'm so sorry if you hear my dryer in the background. I just realized you probably hear that. If you're scared, that's because you've worked your butt off and you know you have so much to give. Because if you weren't scared and you're like, I'm going to go here, I know for sure, I'm going to be fine, and there's not a single party that's scared, is that really the place you should be? If there's not any fear in your mind, do you not think that that's the place you should be? Just ponder about that. Just think about that this week, please. But college is scary, and going through clothes and stuff, and the more I go through everything, I think about this on a daily basis. Like, it's so much work. It's so much work. Anyways, that's my main topic for today, because I feel as though the more I think about colleges, oh my gosh, and then everybody tells you to get on this, Zeme app, where you can, find college roommates, find people, talk to people in your class, class of whatever, and I can't find anybody, and it kind of hurts my heart. I'm like, guys, I'm pretty cool, I'd like to think I am. So that's my whole spiel, but I believe in you. You're going to do good things when you go to college, and I just hope I see that for myself, too, because I'm getting old. It starts to really kick in once you're borderline about to open a credit card account, I guess. I don't know. My dad called me. He's like, you're not old. I was like, I definitely feel like I am. I don't know who's telling you I'm not, but I definitely am. For sure. Cutting back into a new topic. We're going to come and loop this back around. I, for the longest time, wanted to be a teacher because my mom was. I was that kid that would set up the little stuffed animals in a room in a row, and I would put the little papers in front of them, and I'd have them on the whiteboard who was bad and couldn't have recess that day. And I had a little desk in my room, and I would grade papers, even though there was nothing on them. And I fell in love with that. And that comfortability that you don't get to experience very often in life. That comfortability of knowing that the people before you have understood it and have went through it. And my dad's like a chiropractor. Do I look like, can't see me, but do I look like I want to be a chiropractor? No, I do not. I think that's actually the last thing I may want to be. I'm just never good at I never want to be a nurse. I can't be a nurse doctor. I can't do blood. Nope. Someone would puke on me and I would just puke back, respectfully. Kudos to everybody out there that can do that. I personally can't. But I had in this mind for the longest time that I was going to be a teacher. There was no way around it that I couldn't be a teacher. It was the only way I would ever know. And then you get into high school, right? And they put me in this class. It was preparing for college and careers or something. And they told me, hey, you should look into journalism. Because I'm a very vocal person. I like to talk, trust me. So I'm starting this whole thing. But they were like, you should look into journalism. And I was a football manager at the time. It was my 4th or 5th year. And I loved getting out and exploring and talking to people. And I thought about it for the longest time. And then I thought about photography somewhere in there. But that lasted 2 months, dude. And I fell in love with the idea of knowing the world around me. Loved it. And then freshman year, kind of going back to this, but I obviously had lost a friend, and everything after that, I just lost track of what I wanted to do. I could not tell you. Someone asked me what I wanted to be, I was like, have no clue. And I walked into my therapist's office once. It was a new therapist. And she said, I was like, I don't want to go to school to be a psychologist. I was like, psychologists have to do a lot of math, and I'm not a math girl. And she goes, hold on. I went for social work. I said, you can be a therapist through social work? She goes, yeah, hands down. She's like, they prefer you to have your master's, but yeah. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then I looked down into it a little bit longer, and I was like, oh, there's so many things you can do in this. And I loved it. It's a very demanding career. Like, there's always going to be, I can't do, like, the CPS and DCS stuff. I think it would break my heart too much, but I love the idea of doing everything else in the realm of it. So I've stuck with that. I've loved that idea of that. And I fell in love with it so much. And ever since then, I've been drawn in. And I'm going to keep it so real. This is going to be, I guess from the get-go, like a good topic to talk about. Political science was a major, I'm in advanced placement, like AP government politics class, and then I also took AP US history, and I loved both. I passed with really good grades. I fell in love with learning about something that was so much greater than me, but at the same time, something I am so involved in, which is so crazy to even think about. And I'm sitting there in my class one day, and I said to my teacher, I said, hey, he goes, what? I said, do you think I could do political science? He said, what? I said, as a major or a minor, do you think I would be capable of that? And he goes, absolutely. He's like, that's what you've been doing this entire time in my class. And I was like, oh, that's so perfect. I love learning about it. What sparked this mostly was when the election happened. I fell into like a hole. I grieved like the entire next day after it. Like, trust me, I struggled. I cried, I wept. I was like, not to get into too much politics, but I mean, it's like, it was something that affected me. And I had a teacher check in on me the next day. He was kind of asking, like, how are you feeling? What's wrong? I was like, bruh. And ever since then, I was like, dude, I could be a political social worker. I could advocate. I don't know if you guys have seen those, like, trials of, like, Gabriel Fernandez, like, the stuff like that. I would love to advocate for stuff like that, like child abuse, neglect, and drug addiction, and alcoholism, like, things like that. I have such an interest in my mind that I would love to understand and to advocate for helping those that struggle and have been through, Lord only knows what other bad things in their lives. Like, and that's the thing, I encourage you to watch, if you haven't, the Trials of Gabriel Fernandez. I believe it's still on Netflix, and it's talking about this little kid that there were signs that nobody wanted to consider. And we're talking signs of, like, child abuse. Like, the teacher was like, oh, I saw this on him, but did not turn it in, did not say anything to anybody, which just, I can't even imagine. So that's why I thought about that so much. But do you see the way I just talked about that compared to teaching? I could never. I'm not going to say, teachers, y'all have patience. I don't have patience. I'm so sorry. If anyone wants to be a teacher, girl, have your patience, because I don't. But I love social work. I could talk about it for so long, and it's more than teaching, and there's what that little sparkle is in your eyes. So if you feel like right now, you're a senior, or you're a junior, or you're a sophomore, whatever grade you're in, I don't care. You could be in college already, I don't care. And you don't know what major you want to do, and you just don't even know. Your brain's just like, no, I have no clue. I couldn't even tell you where I want to be. Couldn't tell you what I want to be, what I want to do, where I want to be, who I want to be, what I want to be. That is okay. Because one day, you're going to have that sparkle in your eyes about a career. And that may be when you're 90 years old. I don't know. It could be when you're 30. It could be when you're like 15, whoever's watching this. And I find so much comfort in that, because it's almost like you're learning a new part of you. And going into college, it's fearful. You're like, oh, am I even picking the right place? Am I even going to be in the right place? Am I meant for this? And you know that Billie Eilish song, it's like, what was I made for? If you can sing that and know what you were made for, girl, you've won. Girl, you are good. You are locked in. And I just have to say that, because I am struggling so much right now with, like, am I even made for this? Is this what I'm meant to do? And then that sparkle kicks back in, and the talk about it kicks back in. So if you're at a point in your life too where you feel like everybody's telling you what you need to do, like mom's like, you should go be a doctor, and then dad's like, you should go be a nurse practitioner, and then uncle's like, you should go be like a construction worker or something. What do you want? What pulls at your heartstrings? What makes you want to keep going? What makes you, when you're 50 years down the road and you have whatever, a husband, I don't care what you have, I don't care who you love who you want to love, I don't care, and you're down loving your partner, and you have kids, and you're running around, and you have to wake up every day and go to a career, what do you want? I think we get so carried away by what other people want of us that we don't focus on what we want. And if you want to go to a 3-hour college, move, girl, move. And if you want to stay at home, girl. Stay at home. But do not let other people decide for you. Like, do not sit there and be like, okay, well, my best friend's going to this college, so I should just go with her. No, because they might not even have your major, they might not even have your minor, they might not have anything you're even barely interested in. And then you're not throwing away, but you're getting into this mindset that you have to follow everybody. What does your path look like? What does your path look like? And I think about this so much. Like, I keep saying, oh, I'm gonna miss my mom. Like, if I go to a 3-hour away college, oh, I'm gonna miss her. I'm gonna miss her, see my dog when I come home. And then I think about my future, and I'm like, oh, do I still want to be living at home in 4 years? And I'm sorry for the mouth noises. And when I have a career, do I still want to be living in this little tiny town? Or do I want to be off doing bigger things that I know that I'm capable of? You know? It's just hard. It's hard to even think about doing something for ourselves. And it's so difficult. And I hate that feeling. And it's something that I've had to, like, think about so much recently with being in the position I am, is what do I want? What was I made for? What do I need to focus on? So if you're listening to this and you're cleaning your room, you know, whatever, because I listen to podcasts when I clean my room, and you're questioning what your next step is, make sure it's your next step. Make sure it's why you clean out your closet. Make sure it's why you clean out your car before you go to college. Make sure it's why you write little letters to everybody. Make sure it's your why. Remember your why in all of this. And what I mean by that is, when I'm cleaning out my closet, why? Because it's going to be good for me when I go to college. Focus on that next step. Focus where your feet are too. Enjoy high school. I've never had the best high school experience. Enjoy high school, please. But I will be the first to say. Pick for you. Do not stay behind because that's what people expect of you. I am such a people pleaser, trust me. I love to make sure people are taken care of before me. I will do that any day of the year. Why do you think I want to go to social work? But I also know at the end of the day, what is best for me also matters so much. So much. You know? One thing I want to do, getting into a new topic, is I want to talk about my top 3 songs right now. And I know everybody's going to be like, bro, every podcaster knows this. But I really feel like they all go along with college feelings. Kind of. Not really. But my top 3 songs of the week, I guess. We'll go with that. Hold on. Let's pop out the Spotify playlist because I literally do not remember what they're called. I know obviously I know what they are. Give me a minute. I've been on the biggest Megan Maroney kick. I don't know if anybody else listens to her. She's been pretty good. And Cody Johnson. I've been into Cody Johnson. I love Cody Johnson. I would say probably one of my biggest ones of the week is 28th of June by Megan Maroney. But I also love her Am I Okay? Both of them are so good. Oh, and then the Don't Mind If I Do by Riley Green and Ella Langley, I want to say. Dude, both are so good. And then my third one is probably anything Chris Stapleton. I've been listening to Chris Stapleton like crazy this week. But State Lines by Novo Amor. Dude, that and like Rivers and Roads. Where you're talking about like, where the one was like, been talking about the way things change. And it's like talking about like leaving, and like it's so scary, but it's so a part of life, and I love that. I love dude, I love music that, like, tells stories. Like, it just, like, kicks in. It's like Whiskey Lullaby. Like, it tells a story, and I'm like, bruh, love. It's not a like, it's a love. So those are my top 3. I'm always looking for new playlists. I think when I go to college, I'm going to create, like, a whole new playlist because I have no clue what else to do with that. But, yeah, I think I'm kind of keeping this first one short because I want to see people like it. If there's anything else that you guys, like, recommend. But I love talking about stuff like this. It just gets my soul so happy. And my soul gets happy about a lot of things, apparently. But yeah, some life updates, I guess, because I'm about to end this. Some life updates, I would say, is that it's okay. Life updates / messages. It is so okay that you don't have a college picked out. I, as a senior who's in December, I thought I would have a college picked out by now. No. And I don't think I'll have one picked out until probably February. I'm going to keep it so real. File your FAFSA, by the way, because FAFSA just opened up. But respecting that, like, and adding to that, it's just take it every day. Take it day by day by day by day until you feel like, you know, you just need a new routine. And gosh, for the life of me, quit trying to please people. Like, just be in your own little lane for a little bit, please. I beg. I'm trying to be in my own little lane, so you should try to be in your own little lane. You hear me? You better. Did you hear that? Perfect. I think I'm gonna hop off here. I think we're done for the day. If you guys like this, please let me know, and I will definitely make some more. Or any other topics, especially if anybody's my age, like any other topics you want me to talk about. I could go on and on about college. I could go on and on about testing, whatever you want to talk about. I could go on and on if you're like, Emma, I want you to talk about, you know, Gilmore Girls. I don't care. I'll talk about anything. But yeah, I think this concludes my podcast. So, yeah. I'll catch you guys next time.